now rocking with the best. Who's the boxing show that's knocking out the competition? The kick-ass podcast that make you want to listen. The place where boxing fans and fighters rejoice. Thumbs up for Richie, you're listening to the fighter's voice.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast. We're live here on the YouTube channel. Thank you those who subscribed and that are watching live. We're going to cover a few things today. We're going to talk about some events that are taking place this weekend. We got some fights that are taking place. A grudge match that's taking place, and that's going to take place in Manchester. And we also got some fights taking place in Tijuana. We're going to talk about those. We're also going to talk about some fight news that just broke. And then we're going to also talking about Fresno, California. Jose Ramirez, the return of Jose Ramirez with Gabriel Flores Jr. on the card, and also the professional debut of Richard Torres Jr. on the card. But you know what? Before we get started, I want to thank our sponsor, and that's Rico Red Wave and Tattoo. They're going to have an event at the end of this month. It's going to be February 26th and 27th. It's the 17th annual Fresno Tattoo Expo. You got to make it out there, Fresno, California, right there across from River Park. Rico's Red Wave and Tattoo, Fresno, California, the 17th annual Fresno Tattoo Expo, man, taking place Saturday and Sunday, February 26th and 27th. Once I get more information, I'm going to let everybody know. And, you know, be sure to stop by Rico's Red Wave and Tattoo in Fresno, California. It's located right across from, I believe, what is that, Wiener Schnitzels or something in Fresno. If you live in the River Park area, it's right by Marshall's. And, you know, I'm going to stop plugging these stores, man, because they're not paying us to advertise them. But, you know, Rico's Red Wave, man, he guarantees his work. And also, if you want your hair done, they got a beauty salon right next to the tattoo parlor. And if you want to get a fade or catch a fade, actually, they also cut men's hair as well. So you got a beautician. You can get your hair all cleaned up, and then you can get some ink, man, and look sharp, man. So when you go out and just, you know, be yourself. So this segment is sponsored by, once again, Rico's Red Wave Tattoo. And they'll be part of that, man. 17th Annual Fresno Tattoo Expo, Saturday, Sunday, February 26th and the 27th. Okay. So I want to talk about this weekend's fights. And we got a fight coming up. It's the Zone Boxing Golden Boy. It's Haymon Magana will be headlining that card. And we can go ahead and put that picture up there as soon as we can. There we go. Yeah, there he is. There's the champ right there. That's Haymon Magana. He's going to be fighting this Saturday in Tijuana, the Zone Boxing Golden Boy. And he's going to put his unbeaten record on the line. I mean, the guy's one phone call away, one big fight away from a pay-per-view event with the likes of the Canelos, the Charlos, possibly even the Benavideses in the near future. He's pictured there with another local kid. I mean, this kid is undefeated, and that's Evan Sanchez. And, you know, I want to talk a little bit about Evan Sanchez. I know he's going to be on the undercard. He's signed with Golden Boy. He's managed by Joel De La Hoya, which is the brother of Oscar De La Hoya. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to call Evan Sanchez the best-kept secret in the Central Valley. Okay? Read my lips. I'm going to say it again. Evan Sanchez is the best-kept secret in the Central Valley. I mean, this kid's a southpaw. This kid has all the tools, and most of all, he has the work ethic. And he has what a lot of fighters do not have, and that's what you're born with. That's just that knockout power. Great kid. He's managed by his father. Trains at, I believe, Main Event Ranch. I believe that's what they're calling it. And I know Alonzo Morales is also out there along with Big Al. And if you know Big Al, man, I mean, he has this distributing T-shirts. He makes banners. He makes T-shirts. He makes caps, you know, Main Events printing. And, you know, go out there. Tell him the Fighter's Voice sent you. But make sure you tune in this Saturday, man. This is a must-see. I mean, and a lot of times we'll sit around and we'll wait a little while before the main event comes on. But you know what? Hey, tune in. Remember this kid, Evan Sanchez. He's sponsored by Adidas, boxing, so he'll be rocking some Adidas boxing wear, and he'll be ready to go, man, and you will not be disappointed. Once again, Central Valley's best kept secret. The kid's undefeated, well upbringing. He's ready to go, and he never says no to a fight. Like I said, his manager, Joel De La Hoya, got some big plans for him, as well as his brother and Golden Boy and DAZN. Look for him to be in the title picture, and I say the next year and a half or so. So, also this Saturday, on a different card, Top Rank Boxing taking place in Manchester, the long-awaited grudge match, and that's Amir Khan and Cal Brooke. We can go ahead and pull that picture up. There we go. Amir Khan and Cal Brooke. These guys have been going back and forth forever. I mean, this fight needs to happen. A lot of people said better late than never, but I think the timing is perfect for both men. I want to side with one. I want to take one because of the activity, but then again, one hasn't really been more active than the other. Amir Khan hasn't fought in a minute, but he's taking care of himself. I mean, he's in tremendous shape. He's ready to go. He's been training in the LA area, so he's getting some of the states training. And Cal Brooke, you got to remember, even though he was stopped by Bud Crawford, he was putting a good account of himself before that stoppage. Hey, I also want to recognize Mikey Garcia. You know, this thing, it'll keep your water cold. So, this fight right here, I see it being very competitive right off the get-go. Amir Khan showing his speed, the jab. Look for the jab of Amir Khan to work, almost immediately. Cal Brooks going to maybe even give the first round away just to kind of get his timing. But you got to remember, Cal Brooks packs a punch. And I don't see this fight going the distance. I see Cal Brooks being the winner by way of either TKO or just getting the knockout. Before then, I see Amir Khan ahead on the scorecards after, I'll say, 4 to 5 rounds. I don't see it going to the second half of the fight, but I do see this fight being very competitive for as long as it lasts. Once again, Top Rank Boxing, they're a part of this. They helped put this thing together. They're making it happen, man. Sky Sports. And, hey, the fight is called Judgment Day. That's this Saturday, February 19th. I also want to talk about another fight that's just been named. That's just been brought to the attention of everybody. And that's Cruz versus Gamboa. Exactly. Now, this fight was announced earlier yesterday, or I believe earlier this morning. And the tentative date is April 16th. Once again, PVC making this thing happen. Look for a great competitive fight. Gamboa, he seems to be the stepping stone for these upcoming fighters. I hate to give that title to another fighter, but it is what it is. But see, Gamboa has other plans because he puts a good account of himself. A lot of people talk about him in the Tank Davis fight. He put a great account of himself in the Tank Davis fight. It went longer than a lot of people expected, and it was more competitive than a lot of people expected. I myself was watching the fight, and after 6 rounds, I had it close. I had Tank pulling away, but just slightly, and everybody knows the outcome. But you got to remember, man, Gamboa's been in there with everybody. You name it, he's been in there with everybody. All the veterans that are still boxing today, and the man still continues to come in tremendous shape. He doesn't just come to collect a paycheck. He comes in tremendous shape. He brings it and leaves everything in the ring. Isaac Cruz, because of the Tank Davis fight, got the opportunity and showed a good account of himself. A lot of people thought that fight was closer than it was announced to Tank Davis. But knowing Tank Davis, I'm hearing a rumor right after, because Tank Davis has other obligations. He's supposed to fight Rolly. And if everything goes as planned, look for Isaac Cruz and Tank Davis to run it back. Tank Davis, a cloth from the Mayweather camp. And if anything's close to Mayweather, you got to give it to him. He runs it right back, so there's no doubt in anybody's mind. So he wants to erase all the doubt. So that fight I'm looking forward to, and that's penciled in for April 16th. Also, some breaking news. I'm going to talk about the breaking news that was brought to our attention by Michael Benson. Go ahead and bring up that write-up that was on Twitter. There it is. According to Michael Benson, Canelo Alvarez has reportedly now been offered an increased 2-fight deal by Al Haymon. See, you got to remember, Al Haymon, he just keeps quiet and takes care of business. Eddie Hearn had a mega deal for Canelo that you could just not turn down, a 2-fight deal, which was going to be that trilogy in his second fight with Triple G, his first fight at light heavyweight. But Al Haymon said, hey, man, I can play this game too. I have some paper too. I have some plans too. And I want to give the people exactly what they want. I like this offer here, personally. Al Haymon says, we have the first fight that'll take place in May. Because, you know, Canelo always got to fight in May, that Cinco de Mayo. He has it in his blood. And he wants to take on Jermall Charlo in May. Then take on what I call the monster. And that's the uncrowned champion. The man has never lost the fight in the ring. Other people have personal things to say, but, you know, David's back on track and he's ready to go. He just did an interview today. I want to give a shout out to Lalo's Boxing. Great interview today with Lalo's Boxing. David Benavidez had a few words to say. And if you haven't followed him yet, make sure you follow Lalo's Boxing and you can catch that interview with David Benavidez. I like this right here. And I like the way it's spaced out. The second one will be in September, and that's Mexican Independence Day. What more does Canelo Alvarez want? It's offered to him right there. There it is. And it can be worth $100 million. Both of them are near $100 million. And in boxing, I want to call it, that's Floyd Mayweather's money. So you got Eddie Hearn on Matchroom Boxing. Makes the offer. Nothing has been signed yet. Eddie Reynoso's kicking back, and he knows he's a businessman. He goes, okay, that's one offer. It sounds good, but we're not doing a sign yet. We want to give these other monsters, I call them monsters because you want to call them the four-headed monsters. You know, you got the Golden Boy, you got Top Rank, PVC, Matchroom. I want to give everybody else the opportunity to try to match him and bring the fights that we want. And I'm liking this card right here. I hope he does agree to this fight. This can be, I mean, I'm going to say this right now. There's no guarantee. Well, in any of the fights, even the one that's offered by Eddie Hearn, there's no guarantee you see two fights because you may see a rematch. Because Charlo is not going to take this fight and prepare himself to lose. He's going to prepare himself to pull the upset. And when I say the upset, you know, the face of boxing right now is Canelo. So if he does get beat, it's an upset, but not by far. Now, if he does get past Charlo, he's taking on the monster, and that's David Benavidez. This man truly believes in himself. He has the height. He has the reach. And, Canelo's going to have to, maybe be behind on the scorecards to try to get inside on David Benavidez. I could talk about these matchups all day long, but until it's written on paper, till you see a poster and that contract signed, we can just, I call ourselves our own governing body, the fight fans, the media. Because we all stick together. We want those big fights. Sometimes they're not easy to be made, but, hats off to Eddie Hearn and Al Haymon for trying to bring boxing back to its highest platform. Excuse me while I drink some water right now. Now, being that said, we got a birthday to celebrate. I'm going to change it up. We got a birthday to celebrate. I want to go ahead and bring that picture up. And he's still considered pound for pound one of the best to ever do it, and that's Lomachenko, celebrating a birthday today. Don't ask me how old he is. I think he's 30, but I may say, I don't want to say 31. I don't want to give the man years, but the man fights like he's 25. I mean, he still has the head movement, still has the power, and still has that burning desire in his belly. Look for him to get in a title fight pretty soon. But, we wanted to give you the honor of saying happy birthday. Because a lot of fighters, they don't always get that. They'll get a post and whatnot. But here on the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass podcast, man, we're going to recognize them as much as we can. So, moving on, we're going to talk about the big showdown in Fresno, California. That's March 4th, Save Mart Center, live on ESPN. Tickets are still available. Go ahead and pull that poster up. And that's, there it is right there. I wish it was a little clearer, but it is what it is. And that's Jose Ramirez taking on Pedroza, a southpaw, the sniper. This is going to be a very competitive fight. A lot of people have different reactions about this. But the bottom line is Jose Ramirez wants a tough fight. He wants those tough fights. He wants to jump right back into the mix because he knows the 140-pound division is fire. Anybody's name can be called, and they can be up for a title shot. We got Josh Taylor, who's fighting at the end of this month. Or I believe it's early next month. I got to double check that. That's a big error on my part. But there's rumor he may vacate and move up to 147 pounds. Now, if he vacates a belt, you have the names of Ramirez, Pedroza, Arnold Barboza. You got Regis Prograis. You got Teofimo Lopez, who is rumored to be moving up to 140 pounds. Devin Haney has been rumored as well. Ryan Garcia. So that division is, and Cepeda. I don't want to forget about my man Cepeda, another southpaw. That division is going to be extreme fire. When I say fire, fire. All the pieces of the puzzle. And we're inviting all the 135-pounders, including Tank Davis, to the 140-pound division. You got fighters such as Regis. We just had him on the show Tuesday, and he said recently, because he was going to fight, get a bout, and move up to 147. But he said recently, Richard, if I get this title, opportunity, why am I going to run from these big names that are coming up here? I want to stay here and party with the likes of Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, possibly Teofimo Lopez. And one matchup that I like to see is Arnold Barboza and Regis Prograis, what I think will be a phenomenal matchup. But let's keep our attention here on the Ramirez Pedroza fight. We had Robert Garcia on last Thursday. He said Jose's looking sharp. He's ready to go. There was some leaked footage out with Jose Ramirez sparring with four-time division champion Mikey Garcia. And I was watching it, and it was exactly what I witnessed about a year ago. I had the opportunity and the privilege of witnessing these guys spar. So somebody leaked it out. I know that's a big no-no, but both men look good. Both men made the transition, and both men got some great work in. So was it leaked out? We don't know. I mean, nothing gets past Robert Garcia at Robert Garcia's Boxing Academy. So it could just be something that we want to share with the people to let everybody know that Mikey's still in tremendous shape. And has a fight announcement getting ready to make pretty soon. And Jose Ramirez, who's in great shape. He posted a picture today, and I made a comment. I've never seen Jose's bottom half that big as far as his legs. That didn't sound too right. And I put on there soccer player legs. And then I tagged Charles Trimley, who's his conditioning and strength coach. And I know that has a lot to do with the physique and the muscularity on Jose Ramirez, who is making these adjustments. You got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, when a person loses, he wants to blame everybody from the left to the right. Jose Ramirez hasn't blamed anybody but the man in the mirror. And he's taking care of his body, he's taking care of his mind, and he's taking care of his duties. And his duty as an American, as a Fresno native, to not only get the belt back, but bring it back here in Fresno, California. Bring it back to where it all started in Fresno, California. Promoter Rick Merigan has done it again, brought Jose Ramirez back to Fresno. I'm looking forward to this fight. It's going to be very competitive. And I'm going to say this. Jose's a personal friend of mine, and I've said it before. I'm going to say it right now on the line. I'll probably get some text messages that aren't too popular. Don't be surprised if Jose Ramirez gets off the canvas to win this fight by knockout. And don't be surprised if he's behind on the scorecards. But I see Jose shortening the distance as the fight goes on. And I see Jose being victorious, making the adjustments. Because this is going to be two southpaws in a row. You got to remember, Jose's going to put himself in harm's way. I posted also, and I shared it on my page, The Fighter's Voice. And I said, Team Ramirez is ready for war. And I don't know if Jose saw the same post or he read my mind or iron sharpens iron. He posted a picture of himself and he said, war ready. So I like that. Instead of we're ready, war ready. We're going to trademark that right now. Right now, Rick's hashtagging that right now. You know what? I'm going to hashtag it before Rick's ass does it. Let me see. War ready. Let's talk about Rick. Man, I wish I had a picture of his shoes because he posted a picture of his shoes. He said, I was in a hurry today. I wish I had that picture. And I put on a left shoe and I put on another left shoe, but they were two different shoes. I didn't see nothing wrong with the picture. I just thought that's just the way his feet are. They look pretty damn normal to me. So, Rick, I don't know. Hey, there was nothing wrong with that picture. You look like you're ready to go. You look like that all the time. Ready to go, ready to take care of work, ready to sign another fighter, ready to bring another event to Fresno, California, ready to make it happen. So enough about that. Enough about the shoes. Got to be the shoes. Jose Ramirez will be wearing Nike shoes. That I will say. Look for Jose just to leave everything in the ring, man. I mean, tickets are still available at Save Mart Center. Contact, Ticketmasters. Yes, or just inbox Rick Morrigan. You know, he's always on Twitter, and, he's always on Instagram. And, Top Rank ESPN. It's going to be live. It's going to be a great event. I'm looking forward to that fight, personally. I can't wait for that music to drop. Jose make that walk. Because, guys, I've been to a lot of fights. I've been to the Manny Pacquiao's, the Tyson Furies, and I'm going to be honest with you. In Fresno, California, that is up there, honestly, in the top 2 that I've ever been to as far as the noise capacity. I mean, honestly, it's a rumble in there. When he makes his walk in there, I mean, it's just, you feel it in your body. You no longer hear it. You feel it like that bass in your chest and just the energy. And Jose feeds off that energy, and he's going to feed off that energy come Friday, March 4th, Fresno Save Mart Center. I want to talk about another fight that's taking place on that card. Look, I'm already getting text messages. What do you mean about that? They didn't like what I said about Jose or Rick's shoes. But anyways, that's okay. I want to talk about another fight that's taking place on March 4th on the undercard. And go and bring that picture. That's the Stockton King himself, Gabriel Flores Jr. Let's bring that up right now. There he is. Gabriel Flores Jr. Go and keep that screen up there for a little while. So, everybody at home won't see me drinking water. That's a little trick in TV. You know that. Whenever my nose itches or something, I'll ask my co-host a question so the camera can go right to him and I can scratch my nose or adjust my mouthpiece or whatever I'm eating or so forth. Now, you can go ahead and fix the screen now. I just want to give them a little heads up on what's going on. We keep it real here on the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast, which means you got the permission to cuss and be yourself. But today, unless we're led to go that way, Save Mart Center, Gabriel Flores Jr., Junior Lightweight, Stockton's King returns. You got to remember, Gabriel's coming off his first loss as a professional fighter, his first loss in years, even as an amateur. I mean, he had a very colorful amateur career, had the opportunity to hit the Olympics. But, let's talk a little bit about his career. Signed with Top Rank as the youngest fighter to ever sign with Top Rank at the time. And, he did everything he needed to do. He did it the right way and continues to do it the right way. I like what I saw. I saw a few posts of Gabriel Flores making the adjustments. And I saw him doing some like weight and conditioning. I like that. Young Gabriel, you got to remember, he's just overnight going to explode because it's taken him a little bit to get that man strength, but that body is a full-fledged grown man, adult, and he's ready to display his talents just like he did. Even in his loss, what did you see in that loss? I saw the heart. I saw the no quitting in him. The man has what it takes, and he showed one hell of a chin. You got to remember, Gabriel got hit flush in that fight. Gabriel didn't go anywhere. He stuck it out, went the distance like a true champion, and that's a great mark of a champion. And to come back, he's going to be more than ready. I know his dad, Gabriel Sr., I know he has a game plan like no other. I know they're going to make the adjustments. I know they're going to do what they need to do to come out with that victory. And, his fighter is no slouch. A lot of people may disagree, but that's okay. Because you got to remember, Top Rank, they're not going to give you any easy fights. In order to progress, they're going to throw you right back in the mix. That's what they did with Jose Ramirez, and that's what Top Rank is doing with Gabriel Flores Jr. And they believe in their product. And Jay Prince believes in his product. Top Rank believes in his product. Gabriel Flores Sr. believes in his product. Junior believes in himself. Nice kid. You get in that ring right there, he's like a bobcat, man. I mean, he just takes care of business. I'm looking forward to this fight personally. The other fights are all going to have my attention. They really are. But this one right here, I'm really looking forward to this fight. I see the comeback of Gabriel Flores Jr., putting that loss to rest, moving forward, and once again, putting himself in line for that junior lightweight title opportunity. And you got some big names out there. But the Flores camp, I'm hearing that they're having a great camp, that they're more focused than they've ever been before and more disciplined than ever. And, from my experience, they've always been focused and disciplined. So I'm real excited about this Gabriel Flores coming out in the ring, Fresno, California, and get ready to come back into that winning bracket. I want to talk about another fight that's on there, and that's Richard Torres Jr. There he is right there. The heavyweight Olympian, the silver medalist, Richard Torres Jr. is making his professional debut, signed with Top Rank. And, that'll be on ESPN, man. I hope that one's televised. If you have the app, you get to see it. But this fight right here actually needs to be on national TV. So I hope it is. And if you live around the Central Valley, you'll see Richard Torres in a commercial. I believe, I hope it's Toyota. I think it's a Toyota commercial. You see him, he's driving a truck. You see a little bit of a different side of Richard. You see a little bit moving around. You see that acting, and you see the makeup, and you see the, just the way Hollywood is with these commercials. But here's being played in our area. Yeah, Richard Torres Jr., man, getting great endorsements. And he's making it happen, man. He's signed with the right fit. I know his dad, and it took a while for his dad to look over all the opportunities that were coming his way, and he decided to sign with Top Rank, and, hey, he's in good hands. This fight I'm looking forward to. I know he's in good hands, but at the end of the day, the man must perform. Now, you got a big heavyweight southpaw with just that, man, I use this word a lot, just that tenacity. He has what it takes to continue to grow in the heavyweight division. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And on a recent interview, he stated, I want to be remembered as a great fighter. So this is the first day, this is the first fight, and the first opportunity on to greatness. And that's one of the questions I'm going to ask him at the press conference. I believe it's that Wednesday of March. So I'm going to have some questions. So Evan, if you're listening, I'm going to have a couple questions. I'm going to have some questions for Richard Torres Jr., for Gabe Flores Sr. and Jr., and of course with Robert Garcia and Jose Ramirez. And my questions will be cool, man. I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy them. So I'm looking forward to that fight, and looking forward to just celebrating with him. I actually, did I bet on the game? I think I owe Robert Garcia, I owe him a beer, I think. Did I bet him on the game? I did, huh? He took the Rams. I took the Bengals. So after the fight, me and Robert Garcia, trainer Robert Garcia, are going to have a beer. And I guess I'll be buying because I lost the bet. So, yeah. So right after that, I can't have too many beers. I'll have just maybe one or two. Because the very next day, I want to tune into this fight right here. And that's another Fresno native, and that's Mark Castro. Let's bring him up. Excuse me. That's Mark Castro live on the Zone. Matchroom Boxing, signed with Eddie Hearn. March 5th, San Diego, making it happen. You got to remember, Mark is such a great kid, man. I mean, he's a promoter's dream. He's a father's dream. Does everything asked of him to do. Lives in the gym. Does just enough on social media to get the viewership and to get the exposure that he needs. Every fight that he walks out to, he's dressed to impress. I believe I Got My Own Back does some of his gear, or not all of his gear, and he continues to stay in that direction and walk in looking good. Because if you look good, you play good, you feel good, you are good. And Mark Castro right now, he's having a great career. I like the direction he's going. I spoke to his dad about a week and a half ago. He invited me to one of his workouts at The Throne in Fresno, California. And it was actually the day that we had Robert Garcia on the show, so I wasn't able to make it. But I do want to make these open workouts that he has, and give him my support as well, as I do Torres, as I did Brian Lua. Well, I do with Brian Lewis, just he's not on this card, as I continue to do with the Flores camp and, Ramirez, and also Evan Sanchez. I mean, let's not forget about Evan Sanchez. I just can't get that name out of my mouth. Evan Sanchez, the best kept secret in the Central Valley. But right now, Mark Castro is making this happen. He's undefeated. I was giving back. I was giving back to his community. I was going back and talking to the kids at school. And I actually invited him because there's going to be an event that same day. But I just remembered he fights that same day, so there's no way possible. But I'm sure me and the dad will sit down and we'll work something out. We got to get his butt here on the Fighter's Voice, kick-ass podcast. We got to get him on the podcast. Both him and his dad, just let him shoot away, man. Let's talk about, not just boxing. Let's talk about what makes him tick. What makes him dress up in the morning. What are his wants? What are his needs? What does he like to do other than boxing? And once he is in the ring, how does he continue to stay focused and motivated? Because this is what you call a gym rat, honestly. I mean, there's another gym rat, too. I'll name him. That's Andy Altiberon Vincent. I mean, that guy's always in the gym. Jamal Herring's also in the gym. And if I don't mention your name, don't get upset. Arnold Barboza's always in the gym. I know if I don't mention somebody, they're going to get upset. Virgil Ortiz is always in the gym. And, we'll be talking about Virgil Ortiz on the next show because I plan on going up to that fight and supporting Virgil Ortiz. And, hey, Golden Boy, man. Hey, I'm going to put in for my credentials, so let me know, man, because it's always good to know people that know people. And Rick, we'll see what kind of strings you can pull. But Mark Castro, make sure you tune in the very next day after the Ramirez fight. DAZN, Matchroom Boxing. And, hey, give me your support, man. I mean, he's from the Central Valley, and just not because he's from the Valley. I mean, the guy fights worldwide. So we're looking at a future champion, and he has a great upbringing. Now, the very next day, in my hometown of Madera, California, I want to talk about this. It's the Town Throwdown. That's March 5th. The weigh-ins, if you're a fighter, they start at 8:30 to 10:30. And they get their physicals at 10 a.m., and it's going to take place in Madera, California at Madera South High School. That's the West Gym. Now, showtime will be at 1 p.m. That's the time the fights start, at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So you can show up here, watch these fights, still go home and see Mark Castro on DAZN, and still have the rest of the evening to yourself. And it's located at 705 West Pecan Avenue, Madera, California, 93637. Tickets are still available. Email your fighter list to Daniel Gonzalez for your pre-matching. But I talked to Daniel today, and I believe he's booked. He's completely booked. I believe right now he has 20 fights. And I talked to him, and I said, man, that's a lot of fights. Because yours truly, you'll be announcing the fights, and I'm going to have to take a lot of breaks, man, and just, some of those, was it Vicks or some Halls and stuff, to get me through that. I'm going to make sure I'm not yelling that week because I do work with kids throughout the week. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to let them do whatever they want, man. I'm going to save my voice, even on the podcast, because I do want to deliver. It's their first show, and you know what? I want to give it my best. I want these kids to feel, even though it's an amateur show, it's going to have a professional atmosphere. And let me tell you, those tickets are $20. They're still open for sponsors. So if you want to sponsor in any shape or form, contact Daniel Gonzalez. I believe his on Instagram as well. Daniel Gonzalez Boxing Team. Or contact the Fighter's Voice, and I'll line you up with Daniel. I believe I lined him up with a couple of them. And we'll see what happens. There's going to be some bouts that will be given out that day. It's going to be very competitive. And, hey, man, come and support Madera's own. Madera Throwdown, man. I mean, we support Vicela. We support Bakersfield. We support LA. We support Hollywood. Let's support Madera, California, and make it happen. I'm looking forward to this right here. I actually got to sit down with Daniel. We got to sit down and make sure we have everything in line that needs to happen. I will say this, and it's a plug for the Fighter's Voice. We will be selling gear out there. The Fighter's Voice, we're going to be selling some hoodies, and we're going to be selling some some T-shirts. And I know you're probably thinking, hoodies, man, it's gonna be hot, man. This weather is bipolar, man. It does what it wants. And if you're a fighter and you're trying to cut weight, a hoodie is the best thing out there, man. And hey, we're gonna give you guys a good price because the hoodies are $30, the shirts are $20. But if you buy a shirt and a hoodie, instead of it being the $50, it'll be $45. So if you buy the combination, the shirt and the hoodie, I wish I had a picture. We'll do it next time so I can push and promote. So you got to make sure that you go to these fights. And guys, it's just a recap. I mean, we talked a little bit about the Cruz and Gamboa fight. Tentatively, the date is April 16th. And we talked about, the Canelo fighting Jermall Charlo, if that takes place. And then another fight in September. That fight will take place in May. Another fight in September with a David Benavidez. So that fight does take place. Oh, yeah, there we go. Because that you can see the eyes, and it's kind of, okay, I'll stand right here. Made me look all weird. Let's go back to that. How does that look? Kind of like special effect. No, I don't want to. There you go. You see it looks like, oh, man, that looks freaking creepy right there. We need to put this on TikTok right here. When your eyes look freaking creepy. This is the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast. This is a special effect. Don't try it at home, ladies and gentlemen. Only on the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast, or you can go right here. So, man, that's freaking creepy right there. And you know what? Hey, guys, tonight's show is being produced by. She's making her first producing debut, and that's, man, is that you making it creepy again? And that's Sofia. Miss Sofia. She handles all our paperwork. She shows up to all the fights, and I told her, I said, hey, if you're going to be part of this team, you're going to be hanging out, I'm going to put your ass to work. I can't just have people, trying to get free shirts and trying to get free credentials. I had some people around me before. They're no longer around me for whatever reason. That's okay. I mean, it is what it is. But I said, you put your ass to work. So she's learning the program, and today's show is produced by Sofia. So I told her I just wanted to do a small show today. I didn't want to take the chance of taking a guess. And it's just all mental. Had we had a guess, everything would have been fine. But it's just like a fighter, man. And they got to get comfortable. She's making her professional debut right here in today's show. I think she's doing a great job. Except for this effect right here on my eyes. I just noticed that. Maybe I need to take my glasses off. Then I can't see. Okay, there we go. If I take the glasses off, we'll take the glasses off. Because that does look creepy, huh? That looks freaking creepy. That looks fucking creepy. Gave me the creeps. All this time, they're thinking, the hell's wrong with this dude's eyes, man? But no, if you look behind me here, I got this poster right here. It's of Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor. I got to put it up more, a little higher. And then I'll show you the studio that we have. And now you can see this on here on the studio. You see the picture because you made the screen right. But it's okay. You see it. Sometimes you see props every now and then. And this show is sponsored by Lysol. We got to make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you got to stay sanitized. Lysol. If you don't have any Lysol, buy some today. I'm going to contact Lysol and see if they can sponsor the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast. Because you can have an off-brand or you can use a different brand or whatever the case is. It can smell, but is it really going to kill the germs? Is it really going to be that it factor? So I know all the boxing rings, especially if you're involved in boxing, you got to sanitize yourself. The boxing rings, the gloves, and here at the Fighters Voice Kick-Ass Podcast, we stay sanitized. So you see this Lysol right here? One of our sponsors, our potential sponsors. And after today's show, I'm going to hit them up and say, Lysol, the best disinfectant spray in the world. Why? Because Richard Ortiz, the host of the Fighters Voice, told you so. So what I'm going to start doing, guys, I haven't done before. I'm going to do it right now because unless you're watching live, because we're about to come to the end of the show, I'm going to put a number out there ahead of time. So when we do have these shows where it's just me on here, no guests, and you want to debate, feel free, or you want to comment, because sometimes I don't always get to your questionnaire. I'm going to give you my phone. And only on the Fighters Voice Kick-Ass Podcast, because if you want to get in here and cuss me out, go ahead. Go right ahead, man. But if you start getting a little personal, talking about, the color of my skin or anybody in my family, I'm going to hang up on your ass. But if you're going to say, Richard, I think you suck, you don't know what the hell you're talking about in boxing, I'll leave you on there. That's okay. I'll hear you out. And then I'll watch your show, and then I'll hear you break it down. So I think that'd be cool. But next Thursday, I am going to give my number out, not my personal number, but a number out for you to call. We'll take the call. We'll put you on speaker, and then we can debate. We can talk about a fight coming up, or if there's something you want to drop, or is there a shout-out you want to do, or if there's even a birthday wish you want to drop, let us know here on the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast. We're making it happen. We're simply kicking everybody's ass. Plain and simple, period. Don't get all butthurt. It's a slogan, but people get all butthurt. I feel like I don't even need to explain myself anymore. But you know what? The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. I like that slogan too. That's on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock Pacific time. And on Thursdays, you got the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast, where we basically don't give a damn what is being said, whose feelings we hurt. Don't take it personal, but we don't go after nobody, but it is what it is. We're going to be talking about some topics like, say you dropped the ball one day, and if you're in the fight business, I'm going to pull you up there. I'm going to talk about it. If I thought you won the fight, but the other fighter was awarded, we're going to talk about it. And we're going to start going live after all these fights. And I'll take calls there too. So if you want to debate or if you want to talk or just give me your comment, hey, I'm cool with that. I want to thank all our supporters. Today on email, I wish I could pull that picture up. I believe his name was Ozzy. Let me pull up this email real quick. It wasn't really an email. It was a comment on our YouTube channel. Okay, I'm going to pull it up right there. I hope that. Okay. Someone had said, what is this? Santiago Media said great interview. I said, okay, thank you. Now this guy named Ozzy, he says great interview, and I'm gonna keep it real. Says what makes it great? It's the interview. It's the interviewer. Wow, thank you. How is it possible he doesn't even have minimum of 100,000 subscribers? Let's get him there. Let's work to get 10,000. Please share. Ozzy, my man, I appreciate that. And you know what? It's funny that you said 100,000 because I've had that number in my head. And after that, I've had it in my heart. And when I read that, you gave me confirmation. And when you said 10,000, that's my favorite number, and that's what I wanted to get to. It's like I got confirmation. You know, I got a little emotional because, you know, that just means that, you know, God hears my prayers. So I call things if they're not as if they are. So I claim this. And, hey, guys, help me get to 10,000. Let's start with 10,000, and then let's go for 100K subscribers here on the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass podcast. Let's make it happen. I'm looking a little blurry now, but that's okay. It's better than looking with those eyes that I had before. I didn't even notice that. I was kind of demonish. What's that movie where that mono, it's all spinning and shit? That puppet thing, that ugly thing. Well, I don't know about that. I really don't watch scary movies, man. And that's what one thing we're going to be doing, too. We're going to be talking about scary movies, too, man. We're going to be talking about scary movies. We're going to be talking about funny movies. We're going to be talking about events that are happening in Fresno, and not just boxing related, you know, some stand-up comedy or some entertainment or, you know, some great clubs that are out there, you know, to go out there, socialize, have a drink, people watch. And I'm going to be plugging and endorsing those clubs accordingly because they're going to come along as some of the sponsors for the show. So we're going to go a long way, man. So remember, man, I mean, we are here for you. This platform belongs to you. It belongs to the viewer, the fighter, the fan, or just the man kicking back on the couch, eating tacos and, you know, just being himself, the real person. And then you got the hardworking person. So this platform belongs to you. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. It was basically a breakdown. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the little topics, and then I'm going to post them accordingly. But, you know, I wanted to work with our new producer here and take some of the pressure off. But I tell you what, next Tuesday, potentially, well, I don't even want to say the name because then if I don't produce that person, it's going to be a letdown. But I will say this person's in the UK. So in order for it to happen here at 6 Pacific time, it'll be 2 o'clock their time in the morning. So we probably have to make the adjustment. So if I do make the adjustment, I still put it on at 6 o'clock. But I'll let you know that happens. I'm waiting to hear back. But also we have Teofimo Lopez's father. We got Arnold Barboza coming up. And we got some good things that are happening, man. I mean, we got Ricardo Diaz from Golden Boy. And, yeah, we got some big names that are out there. And in the MMA world, man, I mean, come our way, come our direction. And I do want to talk about and maybe get a call in with Big Al Gonzalez from Fresno, California, who got the call, got the opportunity, and he'll be competing shortly. And that man's always ready to compete. And he also, he's an entrepreneur. He's selling his own product. It's called King Me Apparel. And I wish I had some pictures there. And next time I'll be posting a little more as I talk a little more. So, hey, it is what it is. Remember, I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of The Fighter's Voice. I hope to see you in Fresno, California, supporting Jose Ramirez, Gabriel Flores Jr., Richard Torres, and then show some support for Fresno's own Mark Castro. But don't forget this Saturday. Let's bring that picture up again of Evan Sanchez. There he is right there. Don't forget this Saturday on the undercard, Golden Boy, managed by Joao De La Hoya, sponsored by Adidas Boxing. The one, the only, Evan Sanchez. And once again, I call him the best kept secret in the Central Valley. I don't see this fight going the distance. I see Evan getting him out of there in spectacular fashion, taking care of business, remaining undefeated, and look for this rising star to continue to rise. Hey, I'm your host, Richard Ortiz. of the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast. Thanks for your attention, your subscription, and leave comments even after the show. If you continue to watch it, leave comments. And, hey, don't forget to subscribe, www.youtube.com/The Fighter's Voice, and press that button, that like button, that share button, and that notification button. Hey, I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. We're simply knocking out the competition. It's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.